You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, pet parents. This is Michelle Fern, host of Best Bets for Pets. So, this is a problem a lot of dog owners face. What do you do when your dog jumps? I mean, how many of us deal with that, right? And what about when you have leash problems? Pulling, tangling, big mess, rope burns from the retractables like I do sometimes. Big mess. I have a solution. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Pet Life Radio has doggone fur-flying fantastic deals for our listeners. Go to petcodeals.com and get $6 off your order of $60 or more and up to 40% off hundreds of items at Petco. Petcodeals.com. But that's not all.
Are you talking to me?
Pet Life Radio listeners, try Audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan free. And get a free audiobook. Choose from over 100,000 titles. To get this great deal, go to audibledeals.com. That's audibledeals.com. The new Dyson Animal Vacs are powerful bagless upright vacuums for homes with pets. Air muscle and radio root cyclone technology generates the strongest suction power to powerfully remove dust, dirt, and pet hair from the home or car. Go to DysonDeals.com. DysonDeals.com to order your Dyson Animal Vac today. Go to PetSmartDeal.com and save up to 30% on awesome gifts for the pets and pet people in your life. Toys, collars, leashes, PetSmart gift cards, treats, and more. Go to PetSmartDeal.com today. PetSmartDeal.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'd like to introduce Liz Bucalo. She is the creator of PetWise products. Welcome, Liz.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so excited to have you now. You have an interesting story about how you developed your products. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Well, I actually started it with the tangle-free leash because I've always owned hounds, and when they walk, they always have their nose to the ground, and they're forever getting tangled in their leashes because the leash hangs underneath it. It gets hooked underneath by a snap underneath the collar, and then it falls in front of their shoulder, and when they put their head down, they inevitably step over it with one of their front paws and get tangled in it. So after many years of trial and error and trying all different types of ways to get it to stop, I finally came up with a solution, and I created a tangle-free leash that attaches to the collar behind their head so that there's no slack in front of the chest, allowing them to step over it and get tangled in it. So that was how I started, but I've always been involved with rescue dogs for my entire life, and we go through a lot of foster dogs, and they all have various problems. And so, it's my job as the foster to try to get them as adoptable as possible in as short a time period as possible. So, interestingly, it was one of my own rescue dogs that inspired a product to train dogs not to jump on people, and that's what I call Down Rover. And it started with a dog that was perfectly trained. My son did an impeccable job with her. She's a hunting dog, and he got her to be a falconry dog because he's a falconer. And she was beautifully trained to every command in the field, but the one thing she would never stop doing was jumping on people, and it was very aggressive, and it was really a problem. She scratched you, and she could knock you down, and all the ignoring her in the world would never stop this dog. It just, and as fine-tuned as she was with voice commands, she wouldn't sit, she wouldn't stay, she wouldn't do all the things she would normally do when she was excited to see you, because the jumping was her way of greeting you. So I just fiddled with a couple of different tools and came up with this product that I now call Down Rover, and it's a shield to block the landing spot. so the dog can't jump on you. And it actually came to me while I was thinking of The Little Rascals and that show where the one kid puts his arm straight out and the palm of his hand on the forehead of the other kid, and he's trying to swing at him, punching at him, and he can't reach him. And I just thought, what if the dog couldn't actually land on me when she jumped? It would take all the fun out of it. So I created the shield to block the spot, and it allowed me to interrupt the action just long enough so that I could say sit or stop or down or stay or whatever, something to get through to her because she was so wild about the jumping. And it worked so incredibly, so quickly and easily, and it literally, she was stopped doing it in one day. That was the end of it. And so I thought it was so amazing. I went out to some of my local shelters with it and worked with their dogs, and it just, for whatever reason, it just works. It's worked on every size, every breed, every temperament. The confident dogs, of course, are the easiest because they're so unflappable that nothing puts them off. And then, of course, through fostering dogs, we come across some that are, shy or some that have been abused or what have you. And, so I will, with those dogs, I let them see the shield. I leave it leaning against the wall until they know what it is. They see it. They're familiar with it. It's not something that would scare them. And then I use it, when they're jumping, and it works, like as I said, for every type of dog, for every personality. And it's just been a wonderful thing. So for me, I just want to get it out to the community to help the people with this problem because I know how frustrating it is, and it's very difficult to get them to stop. And every time I hear a trainer say to turn your back on them and ignore them, and I know it can work on some dogs, but it certainly can't work on most of the ones that I've come across. And if it were to work, it would take a tremendous amount of time, tremendous amount of effort. A lot of people don't have the patience for it. A lot of people literally can't do it because they have small children that can be put in harm's way with a jumping dog, or elderly people, or just people that just don't have the patience and willingness to go through that type of a training process to do this, the ignore method. And two, with the ignoring, it confuses the dog. They don't know, they're trying to show affection, and they don't really understand what the problem is. So when you stand there and ignore them, it takes them quite a while to understand that you don't want them to jump. So with this jumping shield, it takes all the mystery out of it. It's very simple. You block the spot. Now they know they can't jump, and you tell them to sit. You reward them for sitting, and it's over. No more jumping.
Well, I tried it. It was really simple. I even was able to use it when my larger dog was jumping on, or attempting to jump on a guest, and put it out. It's very lightweight. I want to give for all the pet parents that are listening to this, it's not on the internet where they can get a picture. It's a clear shield, and there's a metal handle and it's very lightweight. It's very easy to use. You could even, while the dog's jumping on a guest, just hold it out. And I was surprised how fast it worked. What about little dogs?
Well, that's the one that I sent you is for the little dogs. So it's a smaller size. I have a junior and a regular size one. And the one that I initially made was, it's 19 inches by 24 inches. So it pretty much covers your entire torso, which is where the dog is usually aiming at. And it's clear. It's made out of a non-breakable, it won't shatter, it won't splinter. It's a very safe plastic material. And so you can see through it, and they can see you, and you can see them, so you can see where they're coming from. And so for the bigger dogs, of course, you need that kind of coverage. You need a lot to cover your whole body, or your whole torso, I should say, so that they're unable to land where they're trying to land. And for the smaller dogs, of course, a smaller one works just fine because they can't coverage as much area when they jump at you. It's a more limited space where they can jump to. So the little one works fine for them, or I should say the smaller one works fine for them. And also, as you said, to keep the dog from jumping on the desk, so it works for many things, not for just the dog jumping on the person, but if the dog is jumping on your counter, or jumping on your car door, or jumping on the house door when you're trying to get out of the house, or when you're preparing their food, let's say on the counter and they're trying to jump on you. So for any time that the dog's trying to jump, all you need to do is block the spot where they're jumping and give them the command, no, off, down, whatever your command is, and then they know right away that the jumping is what is the problem.
I I have a question. I just thought of something. I wonder if, and this, I know a lot of people have this problem when you're coming through the front door and, the fur babies want to greet you, but they also want to run outside. I wonder if it would work if you held it up so they couldn't get out.
That is something I forgot to mention, yes, when you're going either way, in or out the door. So, and of course, I know the trainers will all cringe when they hear that because they want, to have the dogs perfectly. And believe me, I think in the perfect world, all dogs should go see a dog trainer and be trained professionally, but not everybody has the wherewithal to do it for one reason or another. So when you are entering or exiting your home and the dogs are trying to rush out the door with you, or it works for that beautifully, very nicely.
Here's an interesting idea. Have you ever tried it on cats?
I haven't, no. I haven't had the need for it, but I imagine it could work on a cat.
I've heard that cats are fairly trainable. I mean, they don't really jump. Well, they do jump, but they don't jump on people as much. Except, mine thinks he's a dog most of the time because he lives with 2 dogs and was raised with dogs. But cats are fairly trainable, so that's an interesting idea. So, Liz, what other products? I know PetWise Products has some other items as well.
Well, yes, I sell all the traditional leashes. I have snap leads made with scissor snaps that are really easy to use, and they last. They don't break like the regular bolt snaps. Always the little spring that's in the lever that you push down to open it invariably pops out and renders your entire leash useless. So I use scissor claw snap leashes, and I have slip leads and traffic leads and couplers and choke collars and martingale collars, and they're all made out of a great lightweight rope that's really soft and comfortable to hold in your hand and comes in a beautiful rainbow of colors. We have colors for every dog. And I came up with another product because we have, I think, one of the number one problems with walking dogs is they pull. And again, it's something that you could train the dog not to do if you had the time and the energy to do so. But with the foster dogs, we just don't have the time to go through that type of a process. We have to make them manageable so that they can be adoptable. So the gentle leader, I've used those on dogs, and they typically just don't like them. Most dogs just don't like things put on their face. But in a pinch, it's something that we use, and so I made up a rope leash that it's a one-size-fits-all, and it works just like a gentle leader. And I use the rope to form a figure 8 to make a head halter for the dog. And so it's adjustable, so any size dog can wear it. And it's comfortable for the dog because it's made out of soft rope. It doesn't leave a mark across their nose like the gentle leaders do. And the dogs walk beautifully on it. You can walk them with just your pinky finger.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, where can my listeners find out more about PetWise products?
I have a website, and it's www.petwiseproducts with an S, petwiseproducts.com.
That's great. Now, do you have some videos on your site as well that show how to use the products?
I do, yes.
Oh, that's perfect, because I know we're talking a lot about different shapes of the ropes and that could be hard to talk about, and it's the video it all makes sense when you see it in motion. Did you have any interesting success stories?
Well, it's actually the Down Rover Shield is being used and evaluated at the ASPCA right now. And, of course, they have a tremendous amount of bureaucratic red tape to go through before they do anything with anybody. So I'm not sure where that stands in the process at the moment. And it is also being used by Dr. Beaver, who is the head of the veterinary behaviorists. Let's see, it's the American College of Veterinary Behaviorists at Texas A&M University. So she uses it in her classroom for the veterinary behaviorists as a viable option for, a training aid.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, Liz, you mentioned foster dogs. How does somebody, it's a little different from your products, but would someone go about doing that? Or is it possible if you only want to take on one dog, or if you don't have a pet and you just want to foster? How would someone do that?
Well, the fostering program is such a beautiful program because it's great for the dogs. They get to live in a home environment instead of in a shelter, which can be nerve-wracking for them and very stressful. And so anybody can check with their local shelters or humane societies or rescue groups, and all of them are looking for foster families. And so you can keep the dogs as long as, before, in between adoptions, or if it doesn't work out, you have a place to bring them back to, so you're not committed to it for life.
What a great idea. Yeah, I have someone in my family that fosters and somehow started with one dog, ended up with 5, and still fosters when she can. So Every time she fosters, I said, "You're going to keep this one?" No, I can't. I can't have any more. So it's kind of funny.
Well, sometimes you do collect them, but the wonderful thing is you get to see them go into a beautiful home, and you don't feel badly because you know that they've got a great home. And then you take another one, so you're helping move these dogs into homes where they otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity.
And maybe save a life of a dog.
Absolutely.
Well, Liz, thank you so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets and telling my listeners all about PetWise products. You can find out more on the episode page. Look for this segment, and there will be a link to the PetWise products website as well as a picture of the products. I'd also like to thank my producer, Mark Winter, for making me sound good, and my team who had a lot of fun trying out the PetWise products, Mr. Z and Nikki. Dennis the cat just watched. I didn't, even though we talked about cats, I didn't test it on him. So he just got to be a spectator this time. And I'd like to thank my listeners for listening to Best Bets for Pets. You can also, if you have comments, questions, any kind of shows you'd like to see in the future, please send an email, Michelle@PetLifeRadio.com. Michelle with 1 or 2 L's, doesn't matter, at PetLifeRadio.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with another great show.
We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim Link, animal communicator and pet expert and host of Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have you ever wanted to know what your pet is really thinking? Do you want to find out if they truly understand what you're trying to tell them? Ever wish you could build a better understanding and closer relationship with your pet? Well, now you can. Learning to Communicate with Animals is a 4-part on-demand workshop. In the workshop, you'll learn the essential techniques that are necessary to communicate with animals, including what is animal communication, breathing correctly to achieve the perfect state to communicate with your animals at a deeper level, using guided meditation exercises and method to communicate with animals, and how to send and receive information from your animals. So if you're wanting to learn how to communicate and connect with your animals at a deeper level, visit PetLifeRadio.com/workshop and purchase and download Learning to Communicate with Animals. You'll be glad you did.
I Love My Pets, the new single by Mark Winter, available on iTunes.
Hi everybody, I'm Megan Blake here with my sidekick Super Smiley, the giant mutt and spokes dog for throwaways. You're listening to Pet Life Radio, and I'd like to tell you about our brand new show, A Super Smiley Adventure. Our show explores adventures with animals. They can be traveling, out in the world trips, or inner journeys where our animals lead us to inspiration and self-discovery, or just plain fun adventures. Join us here on Pet Life Radio on A Super Smiley Adventure. Good boy.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, one thing that is so important for our furry creatures, for our dogs, for our cats, is vitamins and nutrients and supplements. But whenever I think about those things, I think about, oh boy, I have to shove my hand down my dog's throat because he doesn't fall for the put the pill in the cheese or meat or any of those tricks. I have a great solution. You will not believe this. I would like to introduce Jim Boyd. He is the National Sales Manager for North America of NoviPet. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. Hello, Michelle.
So this is exciting. NoviPet has a soft chew that dogs and cats can actually eat.
Yes, they do. And the big difference here really is it's a fully functional supplement in a soft chew format that dogs and cats actually like. It's highly palatable. It's easy to administer. They'll take it as easily as they take their favorite treat.
That's great because so often I have to shove my hand down my dog's throat. I don't like it. I'm sure he doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is the treats, but just like a sibling I have who can't take pills, they seem to find it until it's almost like little when you put it in something. They just can't swallow it. You know, my dog will spit it out and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's like a waste of the pill or the vitamin because he's not falling for putting it in a piece of cheese trick.
Right. Yeah. In fact, he'll eat the cheese, and eventually you'll find the pills in the corner somewhere, and you'll realize that he really didn't get the supplement at all. And that's where the NoviPet product has such an advantage because of the palatability. They actually take it without that fight. You don't have to wrap it in cheese. You don't have to do anything special to it, and yet it is a fully functional supplement. So they're getting the full dose that you're paying for.
Your product, you came out with some new products for cats. I think cats often get ignored when it comes to a lot of the supplements and, you know, vitamins, those sort of things.
They really do. They really do. The cat items that we introduced at Global this year, we introduced a cat hairball product as well as a cat multivitamin and a cat omega-3. Now, hairball products have been around forever. Pretty much all the same, where they're a petroleum jelly of some sort that you stick on their paw, cross your fingers, and hope they lick it off before they walk all over your furniture. It's another product that's difficult to dose, where in this case it's another soft chew for cats. They're highly palatable. Cats like them. They'll chew them down, take them right away so that they're not tracking that old petroleum jelly all over the place.
Yeah, and if you have a cat like mine who's mischievous, Mr. Dennis, he would for sure get petroleum jelly all over. And, you know, Mr. D, he likes a lot of food, a lot. And he's a fat cat, and he likes, we have to keep him away from the dog food. It's a battle. But when it comes to vitamins and such, he's very, very, very picky. He doesn't like the taste. They bother him. I've tried some liquid things and so forth. He doesn't like them. However, I thought everything was forget it. I can't get it to him. So what am I going to do? I'm not putting my fingers down a cat's mouth. Dogs are one thing, but cat, no. I like my fingers. So, and this is, that cat thinks he's a dog. He'd probably be easier than most, but not doing it. However, NoviPet, no problem. He sniffed it. He was a little bit, I'm not sure about this because he's on a special diet. So his treats are really limited to practically none. There's a one liquid treat I can give him. So he was thinking, you know, am I supposed to have this? I'm not going to get yelled at. This is allowed. No, that kind of thing was going on in his head. And he liked it. I was shocked because he's normally, when it's a vitamin or some sort that I give him, he's, you know, does not like it. Now, how did you make this palatable for cats? Because some cats are so picky.
Well, we have, NoviPet is a division of Biopet Limited, which is also a division of Mabarat Products in Israel, and they have a number of vitamins and supplements for children and adults. The children vitamins had much the same issue where, you know, a lot of kids don't like pills or capsules either. And so when the process was developed to do this in sort of a soft chew, likable format for children, it eventually crossed over to the animals for dogs and cats as well. So making it palatable really is the challenge, particularly for cats, because cats are much more finicky than dogs. But what we're seeing in our first initial tests and distribution on cat items, we're seeing almost an 80% palatability for cats. So while there are some that are just super, super finicky, at least 80% of them are taking it like you have had your experience there, where they look at it, they like it, they sniff it, they say, this really is something really special. But yet they are getting their full functional supplement for omega-3 for skin and coat conditioning, or a multivitamin, or if they need help with hairballs.
That's wonderful. Now, you introduced a new dog calming treat. What is that?
Yeah, we did a dog calming treat, which is the everyday dose for dogs that maybe get a little bit anxious when you leave them home alone, or there's a thunderstorm or some other issue that they get anxious for. So it's a calming product that it doesn't dope them out, it doesn't make them lethargic. It just kind of calms them down so that they aren't they're not going to tear up your house or try to dig through the door to get out.
It kind of sounds like Xanax for dogs.
Well, that would be one way to explain it. Really, it's just kind of calm them down so that they don't have those anxious moments, so that they don't just get carried away or be thrown up all over your house.
Yeah, that's a good thing to avoid. Absolutely. Now, when you say calming aid, so if there's an event coming up, like, you know, you're leaving and the dog gets freaked when you leave and might get overexcited when you come home, you can just give this particular calming aid sporadically.
It is the soft chew format. It's in a tray that you keep in the refrigerator, and we suggest you keep it in the refrigerator for two reasons. One is the soft chew pops out of that tray a little bit cleaner if it's been chilled, but most importantly, they are so palatable that dogs have a tendency to kind of find it on the counter and help themselves to it if you leave it out where they can find it. And so storing it in the refrigerator kind of prevents that, because most dogs don't open refrigerator doors to steal stuff that they have a like for.
Like how you put most. You always get that one that outsmarts us all, you know?
That's right. Every now and then you get a service dog that's taught how to open refrigerator doors, but most of them don't do that.
That's so funny. Now, can you give us any hints on what's coming up from NoviPet?
There'll be a digestive product that will be launching later in 2013, and there are a number of products under development as well. Being a division of Monterey Products and being a large company in Israel, there is a full research and development staff, as well as the information that we gain on the human and the children's vitamin side that eventually transfers over to the dog and cat side within a year or two. We've seen that over the years where it's something that's very popular on the human side, and it's been tried and true. Eventually people are taking that kind of look at it and say, wait, good for me, it's probably good for my dog, probably good for my cat. Let's go looking for a good quality product.
That's wonderful. Now, where can our listeners find out more about NoviPet products?
The easiest way to get information is just go to our website, which is NoviPet.net. And there's all sorts of information there for testimonials. There's information on the products themselves, information on the company, as well as the store locator.
Jim, I thank you so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets and telling my listeners all about some great vitamins that are new on the market and a great calming aid for your dogs. There's other vitamins as well by NoviPet. Listeners, you can go on the NoviPet website at novipet.net, and there will also be a link on the episode page for this segment and on PetLifeRadio.com. And Jim, wealth of information. Thanks for making many of my furry parents very happy and their friends very happy by giving them something that tastes like a treat, but it's a vitamin or supplement.
You're welcome, Michelle. And having been involved in the pet industry, and particularly in the supplement side for almost 30 years now, it is exciting to finally have a supplement that dogs and cats actually like.
It's a great solution, I am sure, to many, many, many pet owners.
It makes it a pleasant experience between the pet and the pet owner, and it gives a tasty treat for pets for good health conditioning and long life.
I'm sure the pet loves it too.
They certainly do. Yeah, in fact, that store in the refrigerator is a pretty good tip, because the pets will find it themselves if you leave it out where they can help themselves.
Great tip. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Listeners, what an exciting way to administer nutrients and supplements and vitamins to our dogs and cats. I tried them and they worked amazingly well. I think my dogs were thinking, yay, extra treat for me, you know. They didn't have to take it after doing their business or anything. They just got this delicious treat for their, for vitamins. You can also find out more about this segment by going to the episode page of this segment on PetLifeRadio.com. I'd like to also thank my crew, Dennis, Mr. Z, and Nikki, for trying the NoviPet products and finding them super delicious. Thanks to my listeners for listening. Any questions, please drop a line to Michelle at PetLifeRadio.com. And I don't want to forget my producer for making me and my guests sound great. Thank you, and go have a terrific day. All right, that was a stretch, but you know what I mean. Have a great one. Till next show. Bye-bye.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.